Very good evening, very good morning, very good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this particular live session. I hope you all are enjoying your Saturday evening and still you are joining the session, so that's really great. We are going to develop. Okay, just a second, give me a minute. Maybe my camera is not proper. Yes, I think now it's fine. And we are ready to start. So thank you so much for joining the session. Today we are going to learn how to develop your first AI agent using Azure AI. Let's move forward with this. I'm going to share my slide first because I want you to understand few concepts first, and then based on that we are going to develop our first AI agent. So let's get started with that. Yes. Before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Maruti Makwana. I hope you know certain things about me, but still, if you don't know, let me introduce this with this particular slide. I'm actually a Microsoft certified trainer, and I'm having almost 18 years of experience in this industry. I mostly train corporates, and these are some of my corporates for whom I have delivered sessions in my past. My expertization is on Microsoft Azure Cloud, and yes, from last I think almost 4 years, I'm involved with Azure AI specific development and solution development with that. In my target audiences, mostly I have developers, administrators, data scientists, data engineers, solution architect, and DevOps engineers. And this is what I do. In my profile, more than 20 plus Azure active certifications are actually available in that. And anytime, if you want to reach out to me for any certification related helps, I'm surely always open for that. Now, more than me, let's focus on this particular topic. So let's get started with that. When we talk about artificial intelligence, as per this year, 2025, I'm sure that you have observed that there are so many new things which are coming almost every month or maybe every week also. And when we talk about that, there are a couple of things which are part of artificial intelligence. Basically, AI is not a new thing, and AI is not a small thing. As you can see here on the slide, we have multiple parts of AI which are available. We have generative AI, which is helping us to generate original content in a form of language, in a form of images, videos, and all these things. We have natural language processing. We have computer vision kind of service, which basically allows me to analyze my visual input into a textual format or any other analysis we can do with that. And we also have some information extraction capabilities. But the last and the important one, which is the latest one, is actually agents. Today we are going to talk about agents and automation. And remember, no matter which part of AI you're dealing with, ultimately in the background of that, at the bottom of that, we always have machine learning, which is playing an important role because machine learning is the one which is creating predictive models, and based on those predictive models only, the modern AI is actually working. Now, as I said, my today's focus is actually on agents and automation. So let me start with this thing, that what is actually agent, and then how it is different than normal generative AI application. If you have all these questions in your mind, you are going to get all the answers today, as well as you're also going to get to know this thing, that what kind of things we can do with agent, what kind of customizations are possible, and what kind of programming language and frameworks you can use if you are a developer and you want to develop agent. Well, today in this session, we are not going to do any code specific development because we want to develop our first agent with no code kind of approach. But if you're a developer and if you want to develop with some more customization with your own logic, I am going to discuss about that, and I'm going to show you certain things in that as well. Throughout this particular session, if you have any questions, you can put that thing in the chat box. At the end of this particular session, I will make sure that I'm going to take your questions one by one, and I'm going to answer those things with my best. So let's move forward with the important thing. What is actually an agent, or what is actually an AI agent? Now, when we talk about this, AI agents are nothing but some smart software services that basically combine generative AI models, contextual knowledge, and tools to automate tasks. Now, all these words which are available here are actually very important, and we need to understand these things properly in depth. So if you see right now, we have generative AI models. Now, I'm going to talk about this, and maybe some of you are already familiar with this, that generative AI models are basically those large language or small language models which are providing a context as well as some meaningful response configuration for your language model. So basically, these are the language models which are running in the background of your agents. Another thing is we have contextual knowledge. Now, we have seen the traditional chatbot kind of applications where the chatbots were just not able to answer things properly because it was not able to understand the intent of the user, and it was not having a proper data context with that. And that is where context knowledge is something which is also important part. Very soon I'll show you that we have something which is called knowledge tools, which is helping us to add our own knowledge inside that actually. Then we have some more tools which are helping me to automate tasks. So let's say you want your agent to do certain things for you. Let's say uh, you want your agent to send an email to someone, or you want your agent to book a flight ticket, or maybe a hotel reservation, or maybe any other particular task which you want to automate with the help of agent. Then we have certain tools for that also, which is known as action tools. Remember, guys, these words are very important. And if you ask me what kind of a agent we are going to develop today, well, I have some example of the agent which I'm giving here. We are going to develop an agent which is going to focus on certification guide. Basically, this agent is going to help you to decide which certification is right for you, as well as is actually going to give you certain information like what kind of a learning is required, what kind of a exam cost is there, what kind of a duration is associated with certification exam related to AI and Azure. Now we are going to provide our own knowledge in that. So basically in the first task, user is going to ask the agent certain questions related to certification exam. And based on that, agent is going to understand the requirement and is going to give answer with that. Now, how exactly agent is going to give answer? Is it going to use only a language model? Well, no. It's going to use language model, but the answer is actually going to be provided additionally with some kind of a knowledge tool which we are going to configure. Basically, I have prepared some kind of a knowledge data from my side, which I'm going to add on into this. And based on that, it's going to give a proper contextual knowledge, and based on that, it's going to give me a response. After that, the language model is the one which is going to use and interpret the prompt, and it's going to generate the response. If this part is done, the goal of that agent is not done. After providing proper answers, we also want that our agent is going to associate with some kind of automated task. And that is where action tools are coming into the picture. Based on the response, we want that my agent is going to take some action also. For example, if user is asking for one specific certification exam related questions, then all the details of that particular exam, this agent is going to combine, and based on that is going to make that data available in the separate downloadable document so that user can download that document and they can use that thing. This whole configuration is what we are going to create with the help of agent. So, moral of the story is, what is AI agent? Well, as I say, definition says that it's an agent is an LLM-based application, is a semi-autonomous software entity leveraging large language model to perform specific tasks through natural language interaction. More than the definition, I want you to keep these three things in mind. First, when you're dealing with agent, you have to create a proper planning execution of that what user will ask and what agent will respond. Also, while giving the response is not going to be some generalized information which is coming from large language model. This information is going to be based on some retrieval context which we are going to provide. So you're going to provide retrieve context with the help of knowledge tools. And then if you want your agent should perform certain tasks for you, then you are going to use action tools, and these tools are going to help you to take certain actions with that. Now, what options we have in knowledge tools and action tools? We are going to see that thing in depth today. And this is basically the first step of deciding that what your agent tools are going to be associated with this. Now, there is one very famous word of recent time, which is actually known as tool use design pattern. Now, in my coming sessions, I am going to focus on certain agentic design patterns also. And the slide which I'm showing you now is actually somehow connected with tool use design pattern. Basically, this design pattern is focusing on how you can connect your agent with multiple tools. As you can see on my slide, we have two different kind of tools which we are going to associate today. Knowledge tools, which are going to provide a context associated with your agent. And then we have action tools, which are basically going to control the task associated with that agent. In the knowledge tools, we have multiple tools which are available. Some of them we are going to use today. We have a knowledge tool which is like Bing search. Suppose if you want that your agent is going to give a result based on some real-time live data from the internet, then you're going to use this kind of a tool. Or maybe sometimes you have some kind of a files which you want to upload as a data, and it's going to convert the data into some kind of a vector database based on which is going to give a proper grounded response. If you want to do that thing, you can use file search, or you can use Azure AI search. If you have a data which is in huge amount, we prefer Azure AI search. And if the data is less, you can go with the file search. We have something which is also additional tools which are available if you want to associate your grounding data using Microsoft Fabric, or you have to get some license data. something like TripAdvisor or some other additional third-party APIs. Now, when you want to use this thing, remember all of these tools are basically going to provide grounding data. If you do not know what is grounding content, I request you to check out our other videos in which we are focusing on grounding content, retrieval augmented generation, and other topics like that. Now, if the knowledge tool is associated with the agent, with that, we also want some action tools. Now, I know when we are talking about these tools right now, theoretically, it looks very complex. But trust me, when we are going to develop our agent exactly after a few minutes, it's going to be very interesting as well as easy. When we go to action tool, one of my favorite tool which is available inside this is known as code interpreter. This tool is actually going to help you to generate code. Remember guys, nowadays we are living in that world where we do not need to type a code. Even if you don't know programming languages, you can still develop agent. Code interpreter is one of the tools which is helping you to generate Python code based on your logic. You can also upload some files in this and you can customize that logic as per that files data. Now that's something which is one of the tools we are going to see today practically. Then we also have some logical tools which are function and Azure function. Suppose if you have developed some code with your own customization in your choice of programming languages, it can be C, C++, it can be some other kind of a logical functions in C# or JavaScript or Java or Python. You can add your custom logical code into this agent and that agent is going to use your custom logic. You can use custom functions or you can use Azure functions for that, which is basically a serverless implementation of your logical functions on the cloud. Last but important one for most organizations, if you're working for any big enterprises and organizations, I'm sure you agree with me that there are a couple of applications which are already having multiple APIs which are developed in them. Most of the APIs are going to be REST based and it's going to do ultimately get, post, put, delete kind of operations in that. If that is the thing, then this particular Open API specific tool is helping you to associate those external APIs with your agent. Now, all these combinations of this thing are actually going to provide some kind of an automated logic which is going to be performed by your agent. And that is which we are going to see. Now, remember, you can add multiple knowledge tools and multiple action tools in your agents when you are configuring and customizing this based on the requirement. Right now, just keep these two words in mind, knowledge tools and action tools. And if that is the case, without wasting time, I want to start building my first AI agent. Let's get started with this. Okay, as you can see right now, I am on my one particular browser website, which is ai.azure.com. For your kind of information, this is that website which is actually having A to Z of agent development. I always say this thing, that this portal, which is actually known as Azure AI Foundry, is basically a factory of developing multiple agents. Yes, I'm serious about this. No matter what kind of a language model you're preferring, no matter what kind of a programming language or platform you're developing for the agent, you can actually use Azure AI Foundry for this. And this is one centralized place where you can manage multiple things. Now, I'm going to do two things right now. In the first tab of my Azure AI Foundry portal, on the home page itself, there is a button called Create an Agent. When I click on Create an Agent, it's going to give me a pop-up where I can choose and customize my agent creation project first. I am going to start the creation of the project. And then once it is started, with that, I'm going to show you that what kind of model options are actually available in the model catalog, which is available in this Azure AI Foundry portal. So there is a model catalog, which is also something which I'm going to show you in depth. But let me click on Create an Agent right now. It's giving me a pop-up that what kind of a name you want to associate for this. I'm giving a simple name with my name and Proj or something like that. And then it is asking me in which region, which subscription you want to use. So a couple of options are there. For most of the agentic development in Azure, we mostly choose a region which is in US or Sweden region. So I'm just choosing Sweden Central for my region right now. And remember, this is going to require an Azure subscription. So there is a subscription which I have, inside which is actually going to provision this thing. I know some of you are going to ask me this thing, that how can we get this kind of a subscription? Well, you can register for the free Azure subscription. If you have not done this thing earlier, you can activate the free subscription. Or if you are looking for some kind of a labs, we can actually provide scalable labs to you. For that, you can reach out to the WhatsApp number which is visible on our website. But yes, as of now, let's not talk about subscription and labs. Let's try to create our first new project. When I click on create, this is going to set up certain things for me. It's going to set up some basic configuration for my agentic development. And it's going to take approximately 2 to 3 minutes. So I just started this right now. While this is creating, I want you to focus on second tab of my browser in which I have opened model catalog. Guys, I don't know whether you're familiar with this or not, but there is something which is known as large language model and small language models. And Azure has done one thing which is very awesome, which is this. You can see right now in this model catalog, we have more than 11,000 plus models which are available. Now, all of these models are available here, which you can use, which you can deploy within few seconds. You can see right now, you have a model from OpenAI. So you have your GPT models, you have Codex models, and even the latest video generation model like Sora is also available here. You have a models from DeepSeek. You have DeepSeek R1. You have models from Grok, which is a new AI from XAI actually, from Elon Musk. We have a models from Microsoft. We have models from Meta. And when you're going for this, there are a couple of models which are actually small language models as well as large language models. Both are available. Like if I search for Meta here, you can see that it's showing me Meta Llama 3.1 70B, Meta Llama 3.18B. Now, for your kind of information, guys, this 8B, this 70B is nothing but number of parameters on which these models are actually getting trained. Obviously, 8B is actually trained on 8 billion parameters, 70B is actually trained on 70 billion parameters. So based on the number of parameters, you can pick your right model and you can choose for your use case. So remember, we have 11,000 plus models. Choosing the right model is actually the first decision which you have to make, because based on the cost, based on the throughput, based on the quality of that model and safety of that model, you are going to decide which model is the right choice for your requirement. So if you are willing for developing agents for your project or for your for your client, you have to make sure that you first going to choose a correct model for that. Now, we have so many videos in which we are comparing models and we are checking that which model is actually better. But I think the better understanding of these things you'll get based on the task. So you can see here, based on the task also, you can search that what kind of a model you want to focus on. For example, if you have looking for audio classification, we have 132 models for that, and you can maybe pick from that. Or maybe if you are focusing on something like automatic speech recognition, then we have 400 plus models which support that thing. So it depends upon your inferencing task or depends upon your fine-tuning task, you can choose the model, or maybe based on the cost and quality also, you can compare the model and you can choose that thing. I'm not going with the comparison of the model right now, but the point is, if I have 11,000 plus models available, then obviously the first thing which I have to do is I have to choose the right model, which is appropriate for my agent development requirement. As of now, let me go back to my previous tab and let me see if my project is actually created. I think my project creation is successfully done. And that's the reason this is actually showing me that which particular model you want to deploy. I have multiple GPT models which are available on my screen. I'm going to choose right now GPT-4o. I think the model which I want to choose is GPT-4o. So I'm going to select that and I'm going to click on confirm. Remember guys, deploying these models on Azure AI Foundry portal is one of the easiest thing, because within few clicks it's going to be done and within few seconds it's going to be done. It's showing me right now my deployment name of the model will be GPT-4o. I am going to choose something which is a capacity associated with this. I'm choosing 50,000 tokens per minute. Depends upon the bandwidth which you want to associate with this particular model. You can choose your 50,000 capacity with this. I'm choosing 50K, which is okay for me. And I'm going to click on deploy. When I deploy this thing, within few seconds, my first language model is going to be deployed here. This is GPT-4o. And based on this GPT-4o, is actually going to create one agent also for me. You can see, I'm already getting one place which is known as Agents Playground. Anyone who wants to develop agent, this playground is actually going to give you all the customizations and configuration for your agentic development here. I have few sections of this which I want to highlight first. Like in this section, if you see, the most important one is the setup section. In the right side case, you have a setup section which is showing you the unique agent ID, the user-friendly agent name, and then the model deployment with the version which you're using for this agent. Obviously, when you have multiple model deployments, you can pick up specific version and you can customize that. In the left side of this, you have a section where you can create multiple agents. So using one particular language model, you can actually develop multiple agents also by just creating new agent. You can create multiple agents with this. But remember, all of these agents are actually going to use the same bandwidth which you have associated with this deployment, which was 50,000 TPM, which was there. In this section, we have a chat box kind of an environment. So basically, for all these agents, if you want to do a chat using a natural language text or using a voice mode, you can actually do the chatting and you can understand whether your agent is responding appropriately or not. Now I'm going to do the customizations here. I do not want to start chatting with my generalized agent right now. So the first thing is I'm going to give some meaningful name to this agent. I do not want agent 767. I am going to specify that, let's say this is my cert guide agent. This is my agent. I'm giving a name of the agent, certification guidance agent. So I'm just giving a cert guide agent. That's the name of my agent. And then exactly below this is showing me a section for instructions. Remember, these instructions are mandatory as well as super valuable or super important if you want to develop agent with specific tasks. It's mentioning here that you have to give your agent a very clear directions or what to do, how to do, include specific tasks, and then specific order associated with that. This instruction is one of that first thing which you have to keep in mind properly. In my case, I want to provide some proper instructions for my agent. So I'm going to add on some details here, which I have already prepared for this. Just have a look at this. And if you want to develop your own agent like this, the step number one which you have to do is you have to prepare proper instructions. Like in this case, I'm saying you are an AI assistant for Azure certification guide. So I'm specifically saying that this is going to focus on only Azure related certifications only. You answer questions about certification exam based on the certification guidelines in the Excel sheet data. Now, actually, I have one Excel sheet kind of a data which I have converted into PDF, and then that particular data I'm going to upload here. And that is something which is going to be added here as a grounding context. After this, I'm also specifying some more instructions. Like if a user wants to know more about particular certification exam of a particular or maybe course topic kind of a thing, then you get their current role and interest details. Maybe it's going to ask a user that what's your current role right now, and based on that it's going to ask for the interest of the user also, and then based on that it's going to suggest appropriate certification exam details and maybe with the cost details also. Now all these things are actually I have prepared in one of my Excel sheet which I'll show you very soon. This is going to be my grounding data on which my agent is going to work. Also, I'm saying one more thing at the end of this, which is like if user wants, you can share the details of the exam in a downloadable text document. So obviously my agent is going to take certain action for me, which is like is going to convert that information into a separate document, and then it's going to give a user an option to download that document with this. Now that is something which is going to happen with this particular agent. Obviously, if I want to customize this agent instructions later on, I can do that thing. But as of now, I'm okay with these initial instructions. Exactly below this is my another important section which I want you to see. There is a section which is known as knowledge, and you can add multiple knowledge tools with this. As well as there is another section called action, and you can add multiple action tools with this. I am going to click on add, and this is showing me a pop-up that you can add multiple knowledgeable tools associated with this. Now I can add a file search kind of a knowledge tool or Azure AI search kind of thing, or maybe Microsoft Fabric. This is the same thing which I was showing you in the slide. You also have some real-time data which you can associate with grounding with Bing search kind of thing. Or maybe you can use TripAdvisor, Morningstar kind of a license APIs which are associated with this. In my case, I'm going to click on files, and I want to upload one file here which I have already prepared. So I'm going to click on select the local file. And I have prepared one PDF which is actually having information about certification. So I'm just going to upload this PDF, which is Azure Certifications SkillTech. This is one PDF which is actually having the information about multiple certifications in this. So I'm going to upload this and I'm going to click on upload and save. While this is uploading and while this is creating, let me tell you what is happening. You can see here, there is a section which is focusing on creating a vector store. So this is actually creating one vector store for my data. No matter what kind of a data you are uploading, whether it's a Word document or a PDF file, or maybe some kind of a logical files like C++ or C#. When you upload that file, it's actually going to convert the data of that file into a vector. I hope you know what is vector, or if you don't know, you can check out our Azure AI search videos. So you will get to know that how exactly a normal data is going to be converted into a searchable vector index. This is a vector data, which is basically going to help me to quickly search through that and generate a response based on this. My one knowledge tool is added here, which is having one file associated with this. Basically, this is my grounded context. And now I'm going to focus on actions. If I click on actions, as per the slide I was showing you, it has multiple tools available here also. I can add my code interpreter tool, which is basically helping me to generate a Python code. I can add my OpenAPI 3.0 specified tool if I want to integrate with my existing APIs and all. And then if I want to associate with some custom function or Azure function, those options are actually also available. As of now, I want to add on with code interpreter. So I'm going to click on code interpreter. Code interpreter is also one of that amazing tool where you can actually select multiple files and you can upload them. You can see here, there are various file extensions which are supported. You can support and upload a file called C, C++, Word document, HTML, Java, JSON. All of these files which you can upload here will be used for your logical execution. So it's actually capable to generate code even without your file. But if you want to add your own customized logical code or some data, and based on that you want that this can generate some code, it can create some graph or chart kind of thing for that, it's all something which is possible with the code interpreter. There are certain limitations of supporting up to multiple files. So you have a maximum 20 files which are supported here, and it should be less than 200 MB. So this kind of things we have to keep in mind. In my case, in my code interpreter tool, I am not going to add any file because I want to see, even if I do not add any code from my side, whether this is capable to generate a code or not. And that's what I'm going to check right now. I'm going to click on save. Remember, I have not added any file in this, and I'm going to click on save. When I click on save, my action tool, which is a code interpreter, is going to be added here. And you can see it's showing me that I have one knowledge tool, one action tool. If you're done up to this point, your initial configuration of this particular agent is actually done. Now, before I actually do anything, I want you to see one thing here, that there is one particular section here called thread logs. If you want to develop any agent, one very important thing with agent is it should remember the memory and the context of your execution. So basically, if I'm going to provide some kind of a message from this chat box, I want my agent should remember the conversation which I'm doing with that. And if you want your agent to remember the conversation, threads is the something which is going to help you in that. So thread is that particular thing which is going to keep the conversational log, and it's actually going to keep that thing in the memory. So that even if I'm doing 2 or 3 different conversations in multiple steps, it can remember that, and based on that, it can give me a proper response. Let me show you this thing with some example. Like in the initial case, I'm just starting with the simple hi, just to check whether this is responding or not. When I send hi, you can see it's generating the response. And while it is giving me the response, it's going to show me, hello, how can I assist you regarding Azure certification exam today? Now, how it knows that we are talking about Azure certification exam only? Because I have mentioned in my instructions that this is my certification guide kind of an agent, and that's what it is doing. Also, you can see right now, whenever you're getting a response, this playground is actually giving you how much time it is taking for that particular response, how many tokens you're using for this particular response, as well as what kind of an AI quality it is using right now in order to identify the intent of the user, whether this particular agent is capable to do the intent resolution or not. You can see right now the intent resolution score is very less. It is 2 out of 5, which means that my question, which was high, is actually not able to understand what I mean by that in much cases, because I have not shared any intent in that. Now let me put a proper prompt with some intent with this. So let's say it's asking me, hello, how can I assist you with this? I'm going to say that, yes, I want to know as a developer that which Azure certification is advisable for me. I'm just going to put this prompt, and now I'm asking for a role developer. Now, obviously, if I do not specify a role, then it's going to give me some generalized information. But when I'm saying that if I'm a developer and I want to know which Azure certification is advisable for me, this is showing me, thank you for showing your interest. Could you provide a bit more details about your current skills and area of interest? For example, are you involved in more application development, data engineering role, or developer kind of things? Do you have any cloud computing experience, or are you new to Azure? Or what would you like to focus on? For example, machine learning, security. So it's actually asking for more details, as I have mentioned in these instructions. Now I'm saying that, okay, I'm saying that I am a C# developer having 5 years of experience, and I want to focus on cloud development. Now that's what I'm saying, and I'm just going to send the prompt. Now when I'm doing this thing, in this case also remember, the response which we got here is having AI quality which is 3 only. So this is actually showing you AI quality 3 in the previous response. But now when I say that I'm a developer with 5 years of experience, it's actually showing me much better detail. It's showing me as a C# developer, you should aim focusing on cloud development. You should focus on AZ204 certification exam. Now this is taking one particular exam code. It's showing me the title of that exam, the duration, the cost which I have to pay if I want to go for certification exam, and what topics are actually covered in this particular exam. Also, it's showing me the official link of that particular exam, which I can open in the new tab, and it's going to be directly taking me to official course page for Azure developers. So it's actually showing me a Microsoft certified Azure developer associate role, and it's showing me that whatever details I need more with that. So this is the link which they are showing you. Also, it's asking me, would you like a detailed downloadable guide for the certification? As of now, I don't want this thing. I'm going to ask a few more questions before I get the detailed downloadable guide. But you can see it's taking a reference of this particular file which I have shared, and these are all the details which I have shared in that file. So it's actually taking a reference of my PDF which I have uploaded. Up to this point, this time when I see the quality, it is improved because it is able to understand the intent of the user properly. It is showing me the AI quality is 5 out of 5. Okay. Now let's say I'm also going to add a few more things. So I'm just going to add one more prompt, and I'm saying that I'm also interested in AI. Can you help me to understand about from where I can start from? So now this is a very common question which people ask me actually, that they want to start AI, but they don't know from where they can actually start learning. Now, when I'm adding this particular question here in my agent, it's showing me again with this, and it's saying that, okay, if to start your AI journey, you should start with AI 900, which is Azure AI Fundamentals. For that certification exam also, it's showing me the concepts like it's going to cover AI, machine learning kind of basics with that, and then fundamental principles of AI, developing AI workloads with computer vision and bots. So this is all something which are details of AI 900. Not only that, it's also showing me that once you complete the foundational certification, you can go for the next step, which is AI 102. It's basically showing me the full path also with that, which is a much better response. This time also, the quality is improved, and it's showing me AI quality is 5 out of 5. Importantly, I want you to focus that in the last two response, it's showing me that they have used one tool, and this tool is actually which tool? File. Up to this point, it is actually using only one tool, which is my knowledge tool, because based on the knowledge tool only, it is giving me the response with that. Now let's say I want to use my other tool also, which is code interpreter, and I want to generate this thing. So I'm just going to add few more prompts. Let me say, it's asking me, would you like me to prepare a downloadable guide for this certification and or help you with the learning resources? I'm saying that, okay, yes. So I'm saying that, yes, please give me AI 900 in a downloadable document. So I'm just asking for one thing. They have given me information of AI 900 and AI 102 both, but I'm just saying give me AI 900 in the downloadable document. I'm sending this prompt. Let's see whether my agent is able to understand only that particular prompt specific to that exam, and then it's giving me that or not. You can see this time it's generating the response, and it's showing me the tool which is getting used with this is Core Interpreter. It's showing me the response that the guide for AI 900 Azure AI Fundamental Certification has been prepared. You can download it using the link below. Now this code generation happen automatically for the downloading of the file. If I click on this link, it's downloading one file, and if I open that file, which is going to be obviously a text file as I have mentioned in the instruction, then let me just open that. Yes, I have opened this thing on my machine. You can see this here. This is the file which got generated. It's showing me the details of that certification, all the other things like pricing, duration, title, key topics which are covered, and it's also showing me individuals to new. If you're new to AI, you can use this thing, and the configuration which is available inside this. With all these things, this is basically showing me the details about that particular certification guide and exam. Now, obviously, this is something which is giving me details which I have provided through the document, and the downloading part is actually taken care by my action tool. Now, maybe I have one more instruction which I can mention inside these instructions, that I want you to send an email using this, or I want you to give me some other format of the document. All these configurations can be done, and that is something which is all part of the instructions. Now, with this basic agent which I have created right now, I want you to observe few things. First thing is, I want you to click on this section. If you see right now, I'm clicking on thread logs kind of a section, and when I click on that, it's actually going to show me a full conversational log for this particular execution. Starting from the first step to the last step is showing me that this thread has done multiple executions. These executions we call run. So in each run, whatever time they have taken, whatever tokens it has used, and if I click on that, whatever tools it has used and customized in that, with the input and output configuration, with the metadata configuration, it's actually going to show me that thing. So this is something which is really helpful tool for most developers when they want to check whether their agents are actually giving a proper response or not, or in which step it is actually using which tool. Because in real agents with the organization specific customization, you're going to have multiple tools. You want to see that whether agent is capable to choose the right tool and it is capable to perform the right actions based on the tool or not. You can see in the first few conversations, it is using file search tool and giving me the response for AZ204 and AI 900. And then in this particular section, it is using code interpreter tool, and using that tool, actually, it is generating that document, which is a Notepad file. Now, whenever you are focusing on this thread, remember, each thread is actually going to have a unique ID associated with that, which is actually visible here. While developing agents, we are going to use this thread ID. So I'm going to create a couple of videos on this where we are going to use threads, we are going to use unique agent ID, and we can actually develop agents with our own customizations with that. Now, if you are a developer and if you're asking me this thing that, okay, this is something which is a no code kind of an agent. What if I want to write a code for this? What if I want to develop my own application, and in that I want to use this agent code? Well, you don't need to develop any code from scratch. Azure AI Foundry is actually providing you that also. In the same agent playground, you can see here, there is a section called view code. If I click on this, whatever configuration I've done right now is actually capable to generate a code for this. You can see right now, it's showing me, I think, few 30 lines of code actually, which is visible here. And this is basically trying to associate with my same project, with the endpoint, is trying to associate with my thread ID, it's trying to associate with my role specific configuration and the instructions which I have given in that. This is an important code which you can directly use. If you want to use this thing, just download Visual Studio Code in your computer and click on this button, open in Visual Studio Code, and it's going to open this thing in the separate Visual Studio Code instance. Not only that, if you are not a Python familiar developer, you can use C# or JavaScript kind of things also. That code is also automatically generated and available here. So you can use your choice of programming language, your choice of code editor, and then you can develop this kind of agent which you can customize and you can configure that. Now, this is something which is really cool tool, and it's going to really make this thing a rapid development for you. Remember guys, today we are just using this one single agent, but we are actually focusing on a separate dedicated course in which we are going to use multi-agent kind of a development. We'll use things like autogen and semantic kernel. We are also going to give you certain videos and courses associated with multi-agent with multiple design patterns with that, because there are so many agentic design patterns are there which are in pipeline. We are working in this particular track, and number of videos are going to be coming soon. So I just request that stay tuned with us. keep connecting with us like this. And if you are really liking our work, you can just do not forget to like that particular video. Now, this is the time I think we are just going to move forward. So my agent is actually developed. We have few minutes, and in this few minutes, you can please feel free to ask your questions. Also, when I'm answering your questions, I'm just showing you one screen here, which is actually having a QR code. If you really like what we have done right now, and if you want us to do more live sessions like this, more videos like this, there is a QR code. You can scan this and you can give us a Google review on this. This is a SkillTech Google page on which you can actually give us a review. So that will be great. Meanwhile, I'm waiting for others. If you have any questions, put it in the chat box and I will answer that accordingly. Okay, we have a few questions. How to integrate agent with the website? There are so many ways to do this thing. First of all, that website which you are actually developing is going to have maybe Azure bot services associated with that. Or if you do not want to associate any bot service kind of thing, directly we have something which is known as Azure AI Foundry SDK. So we have this SDK which is directly allowing you to associate with your existing website, which can be developed in Python or C# kind of thing. If you want something like this, I think very soon, I think by the next week, you're going to get one video on this where I'm developing a live web application, which is based on some e-commerce kind of an agent. And then that e-commerce agent is actually going to give you product specific details with that. And it's going to be a fully live, and I'm going to share the repository code also with you using Git. So that's something which is in the pipeline. You'll surely get this thing. I am going to use Azure AI Foundry portal, but yeah, there are multiple ways. You can use Azure Bot Framework or other frameworks also with that. But I mostly prefer Azure AI Foundry because this is a modern way to integrate your agent development with your website. Okay, so that is something which is going to be there for sure. Anyone else? Any questions? If you have any questions, you can put it in the chat box, please. Okay, if you do not have any questions, then in that case, I would like to thank you for being part of this particular thing. And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe that thing. Our website is actually skilltech.club, where we have a couple of courses which are available. Like right now, I can just show it to you for your information. We have a skilltech.club. This is our site. And when you go there, you'll get a couple of courses on which you can enroll. And these courses are actually, I think, couple of courses I have kept it free for a limited period of time. I have kept AI 102 also free. I strongly recommend, if you are interested in AI, you should enroll into AI 900 and AI 102 courses. These are official courses, and whatever topics which are covered inside this, whatever labs which are covered inside this, all are actually based on the latest things, all on the latest content of the Azure certification. Also, if you need any material related to any of these Azure certifications, feel free to connect with us. We are more than happy to help you in that. With this, I think, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time, even on the Saturday evening. You're joining here. That's great. I'll see you again, maybe next week, maybe next month, maybe in next video. Till then, enjoy your evening. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.